Yo, what's up, y'all? My name is Anthony James. I want to welcome y'all to the first of many Grindhouse Podcasts. I have with me right now the CEO, head trainer, entrepreneur, just all around everything for Grindhouse Sports Training, Terrell Washington. Terrell, say what's up to everybody.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Glad you guys can tune in.
Yeah, like I said, we just wanted to make sure that, we give y'all what everybody's been looking for. We want to have the background. We want to have what's going forward. We want to have what's next. We want to dive into what training is, all the little things, all the little nooks and crannies that you just may not know. Plus, get the background of where we come from and what we've been doing and all that good stuff. So, without further ado, I want to just give you the background on our CEO. So Terrell, man, like I said, we're in Wiley, Texas.
Yeah.
So, how long we been here?
Man, we've been here over 10 years now. I know we moved down June 14, 2014 or June 10, 2014, something like that.
Okay. What got you to Texas, man? What was that move like? What made you say, hey, Texas is for me, Texas is for my family?
Man, it came, it was doing that Mike Brown situation, just looking around the town, seeing how everything was just burnt up and just kind of just going crazy. So one day I told my wife, I said, hey, we got to get up out of here. It's time. It's now. We want our kids to get a better education, better school district, just better overall, just for us, our family. So, we started looking in January. We was looking and kind of prepping ourselves in January. But then when that Mike Brown incident occurred, we kind of just said, let's get up out of here. And then we left. She found the job. I had my own trucking company. I said, let's get up out of here. We rolled out, and the rest is history.
Okay. You brought up the Mike Brown situation. Obviously, like I said, this is, we want to make sure we touch on everything because, that's an important part of who you are as a man, as who you are as to where you're from. So, at the beginning, just tell me about St. Louis. Tell me about that, because I think that's equally important, not just the Mike Brown situation, not just, race and not just football, but I think that's important to who you are. So give me some insight on you growing up in St. Louis, man.
Oh, man. Honestly, I came from North City. I was a North City kid, grew up. We moved from North City to South City. So we did a little traveling when I was younger. Went to North City, South City. Then we went to South City. It was a little bit better community to grow up in. But then over time, gentrification and things like that kind of occurred where you get a lot of, violence, things start happening. And then by 16, 17, we ended up moving to Hazelwood Central out in Florissant. So I ended up going to Hazelwood Central High School my senior year. And, I met some cool guys, man. Got a good group of guys that I work with that I'm still in contact with, my kids and all, they call them uncle, so it was like, when I moved out there, I saw a difference. I saw guys that really wanted to go to college, wanted to do something different. When you live in the hood, you don't really see a lot of guys like me, we like unicorns. So, you get an opportunity to latch yourself on to some guys that wanted the same thing that you wanted. So that kind of helped us with this process, for us. Getting into a good school district, getting good grades, getting your grades up, and then getting an opportunity to go off and play college ball.
Okay. So, you say get your grades up. Obviously, you train a lot of different kids. We got kids who are high GPA kids. We got kids who struggle in class. What type of student were you, man?
Man, I was like a 2.7, 3.0 student. So
I was average.
I was an average student. I mean, I pushed myself, but I didn't know I didn't have really good study habits. You know what I'm saying? So, growing up in the hood, you're trying to figure out, okay, how do I study? How do I do this? How do I do that? And you just laying in your bed, just kind of thinking, just going over stuff that's way to study. So, as we learned as we got older, but as a kid, I think my mom finished high school, then that was pretty much it. So no one in my family really actually went to college, to a university, and had that path like I did. So I was the first one to learn all of it. So, just being that person, it was it was tough, but at the same time, it's rewarding.
All right. Tell me about your family, man. I see you just brought out your mom, talking about, finishing school, the importance of education that that's obviously that you're instilling in the kids that you're training. We'll get into your own children and stuff like that. But tell me about your family growing up, man, and how they impacted this journey so far.
Man, just my mom and dad, man, they're the anchor to us, man. Me, my 4 sisters. I'm the youngest of 4. Youngest of 5. I got 4 older sisters, so picture that. You know what I'm saying? But
they mess with you all day long.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. That was something that was every day, man. I remember I had to be like 6 or 7 years old. I was building a car house when my sister come in and just blew it down. And I'm like, what the heck? What do you do? What was that for? So I threw a pick at her and got stuck at her elbow.
Oh, one of those big with the fist on.
Yeah, the fist, yeah. So I threw it at her and it got stuck at her elbow, and she was like, man, I can't be messing with this dude too much. But overall, like, mom and dad was the anchor, man. They showed us what love really looked like. They were there, I know they had the ups and downs, but overall, they showed us love. And no matter what the area we lived in or where we were at, one thing we had we had a stable household where we ate it. Like my best friend called us. He say, the Huxtables, we sit down at the dinner table together, we eat, we pray, we do all of that. So that was a good balance for us as, I was growing up. So my mom and dad they hold it down. They still holding it down. So I'm definitely appreciative of what they done for us.
All right. So, being the youngest and the only boy out of a group in a family, how did you turn to fall in love with football? Because let's be honest, your sisters probably wasn't in love with football, and if me knowing you, and obviously we're gonna get to your family, things like that. Dad probably wasn't. He wasn't talking about being an athlete and things like that. So, how did you fall in love with football?
Man, I fell in love with football. It was like one day, me and my buddy across the street, his name was Calvin. I can't remember his last name, but Calvin, he said, hey, man, I'm going up to the club, which is Herbert Hoover Boys Club, who I played for growing up. He went up there, and we both went up there together as a unit. I'm like, oh, man, we about to play football. I always wanted to play. One day I was like 9 years old, 8 years old, something. I was watching Green Bay and the Bears play. And I said, I'm going to the NFL. And everybody in my family kind of just looked at me and laughed. I'm like, boy, you don't even know how to play football, So when I had an opportunity to go up there and play at the club, he quit, I want to say probably that same 2-3 weeks later. I stuck with it, man. And that's where the true love started finding. Because it was challenging. It was hard, but at the same time, it's rewarding. And it's like things that you do when you're playing a sport. It's like, okay, you're not going to be great. So you got to learn. So just the learning curve and the coaches that we had, Coach Moore and Coach, Roy, those guys kind of helped pave the way for my football career.
Yeah. And I can see that. Like I say, and we know, just from our own journey together, football, what brought us together, family. It literally was family football.
Yeah.
And that brought us together, and how, when we started this journey and things like that. So, obviously, like I said, I want to dig more into that though.
Okay.
So, you talked about your family, you moving around, you ended up at Hazelwood Central, things like that. What type of school were they when it came to football and things like that? Where, cause I feel like you didn't go there just because, hey, I want to go to this school. I feel like it was one of those things, like, I want to play some good winning football. So
okay.
How did you end up there?
So this is how it all went down. So I was originally at Rittner High School. I did my freshman, sophomore, and junior year at Rittner High School. Okay, and when I did my time at Rittner High School, the school was more like, the guys wouldn't really work. They didn't have a work ethic, put it like that. And I like to train. I like to do all the things that kind of got me to the levels that I'm at. So I was doing all this extra stuff, going to football camps and things like that. And those guys weren't really interested in things like that. So overall, once I started looking at the bigger picture, I talked to my coach and said, hey, coach, it's my boy Cortland Johnson. I gotta give a shout out to Cortland Johnson. Cortland Johnson played at Colorado and played at Hazelwood Central with me. Mm-hmm. We was in a mall. We had Northwest Plaza was the mall back in St. Louis. They tore it down, but it was a mall we was at. He ran into me. He said, man, you need to come to Hazelwood Central. And I was like, man, I really want to come to Hazelwood Central, but I just didn't know how to set it all up. Mm-hmm. And then, during that year, our house caught on fire on the south side. And when our house caught on fire on the south side, we had to move down in the JVL, which is a Jeff Vanderloo project. So we living in the projects down in the city where my dad worked at, because he got a place for us. And after that, my mom and dad was like, hey, she saw how the South Side was getting. She said, we got to get our son up out of there, because we want him to have a career or whatever path God got for him, that, we want to put him in the right direction. So when we moved out to Hazelwood Central, man, the rest was history, because Hazelwood Central was like 5 minutes away from the house. So that's driving. But, if I had to walk, it was 15, 20 minutes away from the house. So it wasn't to a point where I had to get bussed out. But I was trying to do split time at Rittner and trying to split time at Hazelwood Central. And it got to the point in my life, I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and go to Hazelwood Central and do that thing, and just kind of see what happens from there, because they were right there at the cuffs of winning state the year before. Mm-hmm. And I think the team won by Hail Mary. So I'm like, man, I'm going to Hazelwood Central. We're going to go ahead and do this. Go ahead and knock this out.
So what you telling me is you push them over the top. That's what you're telling me.
Heck yeah, man. You know that.
Man, okay.
Man, if you see my defensive film from just our state championship that we won 21-20, mm-hmm. that tells you what type of defensive player I was.
Okay. So what? Don't say it. Don't tell us that they don't know. Tell me what type of defensive player you was.
I was an aggressive defensive player that dominated. Like you could not run to my side.
Okay.
You could not run to my side. And I say that on air. I say that anywhere. They know it. They called me T-Rex for a reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, T-Rex. We gotta get the T-Rex Grindhouse shirts. They'll come soon. All right. But so what made you that aggressive though? What brought that to not just the team, but because knowing you, knowing that on a day-to-day basis, that's not what you see. That's not what your parents see. That's not what your kids see. They may see the intensity, but we're talking about aggression. So what brought that aggression out? What made you that aggressive?
Life, man. I just think about just dealing with the things that I've dealt with in life, just growing up in an environment. So, for instance, I saw my first guy get shot, and I was in the 3rd grade, man. So you see this guy get shot. He's saying, hey, look, God, help me out. I'm like, man, I got to go to school. So I'm out. So my upbringing, the violence that I saw, the gangs, all the other stuff that you go through in inner cities, it was something that, that I wanted out. I was looking for an out, right? I'm not saying I wanted to run away from it all, but I just wanted a way where it was a little bit different, that I wanted to achieve bigger and better things than seeing guys hanging on the corner, selling drugs, prostitution, all this other stuff that we all go through, in the city. My goal was I wanted to be somebody. I wanted to play ball. I wanted to be a great mentor. This is all the stuff I had built in me. I'm talking about 3rd and 4th grade that I wanted to do, but I just didn't have any guidance to get there. So over time, when I played, I said, this is my out, and I wasn't going to let nothing stop me from achieving what I wanted to do. And that was go to the next level, go to college and have a great education, and then get a chance to go to the NFL. So, and it kind of happened. So
you that's the journey. That's the start. That's the high school start. Now, traditionally, and we both have kind of gone through this, your son being a high-level recruit attending the University of Iowa, my son being a high-level recruit attending the University of Washington, now at Eastern Washington University. We both have kind of gone through this. Your path wasn't that path, though.
No.
And for everybody who knows that you wear your University of Illinois ring and your hat and your jersey and you say, hey, I play for the University of Illinois, they don't know the beginning start of that. No. They don't know the JUCO journey. So tell us about how you ended up at JUCO. First off, let's start there.
I'm gonna give you like a deep dive into that part. So, when you had to do back then, we had to do ACTs and SATs. Yeah. So that's a whole different ball game for me.
Tell me about you being an average student.
I was an average student. So just being an average student and doing, not understanding the concepts of the standardized testing and things like that you need to get to that next level. I was going to go to school and take a course at Civil Learning Center to kind of get that all done so I can go D1. But then I'm like, man, I'm good enough I can go JUCO, and then I have more offers if I go JUCO, because at the time my grades, like I said, 2.7. Didn't take the SAT. I think I got like a 16 or 17 on the ACT.
Which, if people who don't know about ACT, that's definitely low middle of the road.
Yeah.
Yes, you can get into college with the 16, 17 ACT, but you're looking at
multiple times. You got to take it.
You got to take it again. And most people, you want to have a 19, 20. That's for my people here in Texas who don't take the ACT. I had to take the ACT. I got a 25. Don't want to worry about him.
Yeah, that probably, if you had to do the math, probably got like a 10, 9.
But so that the standardized testing, which that's a whole story for a whole different podcast. We'll talk about that when we start talking about recruiting. So standardized testing is kind of was the hit for you.
Correct.
We'll just say that.
Yeah, I just didn't want to I didn't want to spend no energy doing it because I knew I was good enough to go to the next level. So it's like, okay, well, I just got to do 2 years at JUCO, and hopefully I play 2 years. But then, some things happen where you get there, and coach say I'm gonna redshirt you. So I'm like, shoot, okay, whatever. I was upset. I cried a little bit, because my passion. That's like, your something that you really, really love doing that gets taken away for you for a year, and you don't really know how to internalize it as a kid. So it was like, how do I make them so mad at me to a point where they put me on the field, and nothing I did could get that to happen. Even though in practice I bust my tail, like I practiced like it was a freaking game, bro. Like real talk, I was all over the place, man, and I was like dominant, and I was preparing those guys for the next game for each week. So
we can kind of say that, and I know we always talk about, me and you in our personal life, we talk about L's. We talk about L's not being losses, L's being lessons.
Right.
So knowing that you have the talent to go play D1, you have the drive to go play D1, but you don't have the grades to go play D1 right now. Like, what is that lesson, that L that you took there? What did that do for you for not only where you are right now, but what you instill in your kids going forward right now?
Oh man, one of the things I always tell my kids, hey, if you 3.0, if you get a 3.0, you great. You don't have to worry about nothing else. Do 3.0, and then whatever test you take, you can get the bare minimum on whatever test you take. If they still even allowing kids to take tests nowadays, I don't even think that. I think last year, or they probably got back into it, but at the time,
certain schools want you to take it, certain schools don't. But
okay, yeah, but taking that lesson, I call it a lesson, like we talked about. It's a lesson, what could have prepared me for the ACT that I needed to take back then. That way I didn't have to take that long journey to JUCO. But I'm telling you, if I wouldn't have took that journey to JUCO, I wouldn't be me. It wouldn't have prepared me for who I am now.
Okay. Tell me about JUCO. Tell me where you went. Tell me how long you were there. Tell me about JUCO.
All right, so I went to Hutchinson Community College in Kansas, Hutchinson, Kansas, back in 1997. So 97 through 99.
That's different than St. Louis.
Man, way different. It was slow as heck. It was super slow, bro. We had one mall, one McDonald's, and one Burger King.
Okay.
So, but we
Junior.
had a mall though. So most JUCOs don't have malls. So we were probably the top tier JUCOs. I think there's one of the top two JUCOs in the country now. Still to this day. But when I went to Hutch, man, it was a difference. It was a different maker in me, my teachers, how we had one-on-one coaching and teaching in classroom. And I think I left out of JUCO with like a 3.5 GPA, prepared me for college and got to the University of Illinois and flourished. But my journey through JUCO was great, man. My coach was Dave Wheeler at the time, and Dave Wheeler went to college. Now I think he's back in high school. But Dave Wheeler was a great guy for me. He really helped mold and guide me in the right direction throughout that journey. So I'm just grateful that I had him as a coach, because he was patient and, he knew he wanted me to play, but at the same time, I had to wait my time. And then, once, I want to say that year we did our banquet, he had an award, like I wasn't even expecting. He was an award. It was a Terrell Washington award, that he gave out to, the kids who worked hard and bust their butt, in practice, even though they were redshirted. And from there, it was like something that I think the university still do to this day, which is, not the university, but the JUCO do to this day, which was a really an honor for me. Cause I was just like, man, I was just so mad that I didn't get to play. I'm going to bust my butt. I'm going to show them that they should have played me. And, from there, it kind of just, I had a little journey, a little 2-year stop at JUCO. And then after JUCO, I went to the University of Illinois.
We're not done with JUCO. We're going back. We staying at JUCO.
Right? Okay, go ahead.
Because the part that people don't understand about JUCO is when you show up to JUCO, it is people from different places, from different background. The people don't understand that. If you grew up in the inner city, you're gonna understand that St. Louis is like Detroit. It's like Miami. It's like Atlanta. Every inner city's the same.
Yeah,
you know.
I agree.
So I want to hear about the teammates. I want to hear about some incidents.
Okay.
I know that me and you have spoken in the past, and I think the world needs to hear.
Okay.
A life-changing incident that may have happened at JUCO that kind of put things in perspective for you.
Yeah. So going to JUCO, you meet a lot of guys up from all like Florida. We had a lot of Florida boys on our team. I know Troy West, Brian Limpton, those guys that I still keep in contact with. David Monroe. Man, we had some St. Louis guys. So 4 of my boys, we all went to school together too. Jamison Palmer, Mike Stewart, and myself and Nick Payne, we all went to school together, and we was like, hey, we're going to go down there. We're going to dominate. And, it was, like I said, it's all Virginia. We had a lot of guys from Chicago. So it was like we had a group of guys but we all came from, like you said, from the same city, but it was just different states. You know what I'm saying? And the mindset and the things that we did on a college level helped us become who we were, understanding, hey, what's more important, what's not important, and, you learn from guys' mistakes. Guys get sent back home on a bus and they like, man, where's so-and-so at? And you're like, man, he gone.
We're talking about like NFL cut day.
Yeah, cut day. They did something stupid, and now all of a sudden they back home and on the bus on the way back home. So you start to learn all of this good old stuff, and like, man, you know what? I'm just gonna stick in my classroom. I'm gonna go to class every day. I'm gonna do what I need to do, and then, I just want to get to the next level. So doing that 2-year journey, I won't say my first year. It had to be my first year. Me and a close friend, we were just in our room playing video games like most college students, and something had broke out at the park or something, and they said, man, something had happened outside the dorms. And so we just go trotting outside the dorm to see what's going on. And bro, like, we're in Kansas, man. Like, I'm looking at Kansas like, okay, this is slow as heck.
You think about cornfields and
wheat, bro. That's pretty much all I'm looking. I'm like, I don't think nothing drama gonna happen here. So we go outside the dorms, and we're just walking. Like, we're walking down the sidewalk. I see a car like in Boys in the Hood, man, pull up at the stop sign. I'm like, okay, what the heck is this? What's going on? So then I see a towel hanging out of the window. Like, I'm witness this. This is like, I'm sitting, when I gave my statement at court, like, this is what I'm seeing. Like, this guy wraps a towel around a gun and he starts shooting a gun at us. Like, I mean, it was boom, 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 boom. We like, oh shoot, what's going on? Like, so we're running towards the car because there's no other area that we can just dive behind. So it's like we start running. I'm hearing bullets go past my head, hitting a tree. And it's like, man, so then we both died. He dove in, he was like 2 or 3 steps in front of me. He dived behind a car. I dove behind another car, and they got done shooting. They pull off, and he stands up and say, hey, bro, I'm hit. And I'm like, stop playing, bro. Like, for real, let's stop playing. And I looked at it, and I saw blood start dripping from his neck, and it was like, holy smokes, like, for real, he's hit. So I just wanted to, like, now I got to save my boy life and get him to the hospital and make sure he's safe. And, he got hit in the neck, and the bullet traveled on the other side and got lodged in his jaw, but, the cool thing about it, he made it out, and we can live to talk about the story. And that was my change in life, where I was like, man, hanging out with certain people, doing what everybody else do, man, ain't where it's at. I'm going to just stick to what, I feel that God has planned for me, and the goals and the direction that he want me to go. I'm going to just follow suit on that. So that's what I've been on for the last, so that's like 1920. So
1920, you that old?
Yeah, man.
No, you ain't that old. Let's say 1999.
Let's say 1999. Since 1999. I mean, if the kids are listening to this, they gonna be like 19. I wouldn't even thought 19, about that.
Anything with 19, kids think is old anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, man, that's where my life changed, man. So
how has that story? And I think right now we're gonna end this episode with that story.
Okay.
How did that story change your life, and how did that story there bring impact to what you do to kids every single day? How does that impact how you train, how you mentor, how you build business? How did that story impact every day of your life?
The journey, right? So as you go through something like that, right, it's just tragic. Like we all been through shootings and all of that stuff as a youth, But as you see one of your best friends get hit, in something so simple, like so quick, and you're not prepared for it. It's like when you as a kid that you look at life, you're like, okay, I don't want to ever experience that again, and I don't want my kids to ever experience that again. So my drive, my mentorship, the goals and the businesses that I run was created then, because now it's like, okay, well, I'm not gonna never let anybody deny me, and I'm never gonna put myself in a position where I can lose my life, or anyone around me that can lose their life like that. So I'm not going to put myself in an environment or any sort where, so the goal for me was to just educate young men and women like, hey, I get it. You want to do what you want to do, but it's always the time and the place. And, let's focus on this, or let's focus on that. Like, if you love playing a sport, I'm going to guide you, and I'm going to do my best job at guiding you to the direction that you should go. And it's totally up to you to decide to go that way, but I'm going to do my best. If you want to go to college, you want to play a sport, I'm going to be there to guide you doing that journey. And I'm going to push you in a way. You're going to want to quit because if life is not easy, and we both know that we both dealt with like different things in life. So as we go through this journey of training, and as me being your mentor and me holding you accountable, I'm expecting bigger and better things from you as a youth. I don't care what age you are. I know for a fact, if most parents push their kids and not gave their kids a lot of things that they give them, those kids will be successful just due to the fact of not getting everything. So when you expect something, you always get it. And it's like, okay, why do I got to work so hard at it? Mm-hmm. And we know in life and how we grew up that nothing is given to us. We got to earn everything through hard work and dedication and being determined to be great.
I feel that, man. So for this episode, we always gonna end this, but we always gonna end it with one last rep, one more rep.
Okay.
I want to make sure, and it's always gonna be some kind of fun, something. So tell me about your mentor growing up.
Okay.
Give me a mentor who helped you through this journey.
Well, I got to give you two, because it's a two-phase story. It's two of them that kind of played a different role. One of my mentors was Coach O. Coach O was the coach that my high school coach, who gave me an opportunity as a freshman to play varsity. And when I was playing varsity, I'm like, shoot, these boys are big. I'm like 145 pounds, and these boys like, and I'm playing defensive end, So these boys
6'2",
about
140.
I'm like 6'2", 145. I'm giving myself about 4 more pounds, but Coach O was the guy that he told me one day. I was in the hallway. He came up to me. He said, "Hey T, I want to tell you something." I was like, "What's up?" He said, "You can go to college." Now, nobody in my family went to college, bro. Nobody in my now they got educations and things like that. But when I had that opportunity, he told me that, I believed it. I believed him. And from there, man, I was like, oh man, I got to tell my mom, it was like, I don't know if she going to say it's okay for me to go to college. So I go home. I literally that same day I run home. I go tell my mom, I say, "Hey mom, my coach said I can go to college. I can be one of the first people in our family to go to college. Is it okay if I go to college?" And she just looked at me like, "Boy, yeah, you can go to college." Like, what is wrong with you? So I'm like, okay. So I get to school the next day. I say, "Coach, my mom said I can go to college. So what do I have to do? Tell me what I got to do." The first thing you say, you got to get your grades up.
Your average student.
Yeah, average student with average grades. Got to get my grades up. Oh, dog, man, I don't even know how to study, man. What you mean you got to get my grades up? Yeah. No, man, but I bust my butt, and shoot, when he told me that, it was life changing for me. And then, I got to give a shout out to Beverly Wilson and Terrell Wilson, who were there to mentor me throughout this journey as well, who financially showed me how to create a budget and do different things in life, man, that a lot of people are not being trained or taught to do, just due to the fact that financially, most people are not savvy with cash. So that kind of helped me out with that. And it just kind of giving me life things that they done in life that was bad, but also giving me a good pillar to kind of look at and kind of go off of and kind of grow. So I just want to give a shout out to them too as well.
Well, shout out to Coach O, shout out to Terrell Wilson and Beverly Wilson. I know the city of Wiley appreciate what you guys helped instill in Terrell and things like that. So we're gonna end it right there, Terrell. Terrell, let everybody know where they can reach you on social media, man.
All right, you can get me up on Instagram is Grindhouse ST. You can always go there. You go to Twitter, same thing, Grindhouse ST. But also I'm on Facebook, Grindhouse Sports Training. Yeah, if you want to know anything about training, want to know anything about just getting to the next level, I am a good resource. I got a lot of good positive role models around me, but also I got coaches that are coaching college ball and coaching pro ball. So it's just, if you want to get in contact, just give me a buzz and let me know. I'm here for you. I'm here for these young kids as well.
All right, y'all. That's a wrap. Just remember, no grind, no shine. So we're going to end it right there.